Thanks, Obama.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Saturday. Yes, Saturday, August 22nd. I'm J.E. Skeets, and joining us here, as always, Tass Mellis.
Guys, if I'm a little traumatized during this show, I just killed the Giannis Antetokounmpo of spiders. 2 strides, and it was across my room. I just had to chase it down, but I got it. All good.
Okay, geez. We got the bearded one, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey-o!
The international man of mystery, taking it to the max from parts unknown, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
Lily, and last but not least, making the magic happen, JD.
Hello.
There he is,
Hello.
and here we are. Is your mic working?
My mic's working. My kid is making a coffee behind me, so I turned it off. And then I just turned it back on.
All right. Well, Saturday mornings here at the No Dunks
Saturday
crew.
mornings.
Lee, where are you right now? What room are you in?
I'm in the master bedroom, the boom room. We're up on a lake. I think it's up near Hartwell somewhere. Yeah, it's beautiful. This room is actually very nice. But you should see the morning we woke up to. Sun shining over the lake. We've already been out for a little splash in the water.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're somewhere. What state did you say you're in? Are you in?
No, we're in Georgia. We're still in
still
Georgia.
in Georgia.
Yeah.
He's near Hartwell. Didn't you hear, Skeets?
I know. He said it like I should know what a Hartwell
You
is.
dummy.
Like, okay, Hartwell. No, sorry. I love Hartwell. All right. Shout out to everyone joining us live right now on YouTube. Yes, word on the street. Saturday morning No Dunks. Better than Saturday morning cartoons. So let's put it to the test. Keep sending in your questions and comments for a new Beach Steppin' podcast next week. No Dunks at theathletic.com or tweet them in at No Dunks Inc. Hashtag No Dunks. We're here on Saturday when all those other NBA podcasts take the day off because we've got playoff games to recap. We got some news to get to. Let's start in the Western Conference here this morning. Kawhi Leonard leads the Clippers past the Mavericks as the dunk injures his ankle. Clips go up 2-1 in the series. It was a close game. They put up a fight, the Mavs did, without Luka there late. But Tass, big takeaways from this one.
This is the reason why the Clippers are the number 1 championship contender for a lot of people, and for me, they leapfrog. Is that a past term of leapfrog?
It's Saturday morning here.
Leapfrog. I mean, they leapfrog. You need a past tense for leapfrog. Anyways, that's why they're the number 1 contender for me because Kawhi said, as you mentioned, 36 in this game. He doesn't give a crap about the regular season. He comes out and performs in the playoffs. Also, their feistiness level. I think a Doc Rivers championship team needs to be a little nasty. In this 1-1 series, they decided to amp that up a little bit. You saw Landry Shamet even giving it. Of course, Marcus Morris giving it like he gave earlier this series, I should say. And the big one, of course, Montrezl Harrell getting into it with Luka Doncic on both ends, playing some bully ball on one end, going to the other end where he gave Luka, I think they missed this on the broadcast, he gave Luka a little shot for no reason on the defensive end. Then Luka kind of tripped them. They got into it verbally. That's a championship Doc Rivers team right there. Plus getting threes from Marcus Morris and Landry Shamet, who is this guy is the sort of the under the radar guy for the Clippers that no one really talks about. But the second-year player that they stole from the Philadelphia 76ers for Tobias Harris shoots a ridiculous 3-point percentage when he plays around Kawhi and Paul George, and he's going to hit some major threes. He got 7 threes out of him and Marcus Morris playing along Kawhi and Paul George, and this is all without Paul George playing well at all. So I think that's the mix right there. That I was definitely worried about them not having a lot of camaraderie, not playing a lot of minutes together this season with all the injuries, everybody coming in and out of the lineup, coming in and out of the bubble, going for their chicken wings here in Atlanta. But this is the team, I think, that has the entire package when they put it all together. And that's why everybody picked them. Not everybody. Most people picked them. And that's why they're my number 1.
Yeah, it was a smooth move by Doc to put Shamet back into the starting lineup or get him into the starting lineup because Reggie Jackson started game 2 with no Patrick Beverley. And yeah, Shamet comes through 18 points. He definitely stretches the floor. He had that big dunk too. Out of nowhere, going baseline. It was like sort of on Boban, not really on Boban, but still, eye emojis on that one because I was like, whoa, Landry Shamet didn't really had that in the bag. But yeah, you're right, Tass. Even with playoff P putting up another dreadful performance, though he talked about it after the game, he does so much more than just score. He's not James Harden. He does a lot more. Even when he's missing his shots, he's still bringing it on the other end. And that's true. Of course, he's a great defender. But Shamet, Marcus Morris, Zubats all scored in double figures. And then your super subs in Sweet Lou and Trez as well. This is that Clippers depth showing just how talented it is and getting this win. But, Mavs Trey did put up a fight again with Luka going out late in the third quarter with the ankle and then hopping all the way to the back. They got to get these guys like a bullpen cart. Right?
No doubt they've got some golf carts just hanging around at Disney World. Wheel them around in here. People were freaking out that Luka Doncic came back in the game after a sprained ankle. And I didn't understand the outrage. Yes, he sprained his ankle. It looked bad. But if you've ever watched a basketball game, guys like to try and play through an ankle injury every now and then. He came back out for a couple of minutes. It wasn't working. They pulled him out. What's the big deal? I've seen Dirk Nowitzki do it a million times as a Dallas Maverick. He was known for getting a sprained ankle, coming back and putting the team on his back. So, he gave it a shot. It didn't work out. And the Mavericks could have easily folded when Luka finally went back to the locker room for the rest of the night. But they kept playing hard. As soon as the ankle turned, there was a lot of "this series is over" on Twitter. And if Luka's not able to come back, that certainly hurts the Mavericks' chances. But they play hard enough, and if they get hot enough from three, maybe they can get another win. But it's going to be tough without their MVP, no doubt.
Yeah, he's getting the MRI today. He said last night, Luka, it's not that bad. A little sprain. We'll know more tomorrow. So you're hoping if you're a Mavs. Everybody's hoping. Let's be honest. No one wants him out for the rest of the series. It would be over very quickly, despite the effort a lot of the Mavs role players put into that one. And Porzingis had a big line, but
there was the wheelchair was available apparently, right? The commentators were talking about a Doc Rivers championship team. Wheelchair a la Paul Pierce was available apparently, but I guess Luka didn't want to. No, he did a lot of limping on that ankle. I agree with Trey. Who cares? If he wants to play on an ankle, go right ahead. And he pulled out. He said he couldn't do it. I think his resilience, and I think he was bothered by the Clippers. This is the first time where he got this type of defense being pretty aggressive with him. I think he bounced back very well. I think he was bothered, but bounced back, and then he tried it. Hey, all praise to Luka, all praise to the Mavs for sticking in this game, even without him. I think that was a great fight, and this is the best series so far.
Yeah, what did you think, Lee?
Yeah, well, the Mavs have brought out this performance, I think, from the Clippers, because I think the Clippers probably came into this series thinking it was going to be a little bit easier than it has been, and they've had to raise their game. So I think Doc Rivers is going to be pretty happy with that. And if you are the Mavs, I think what I'm seeing, again, another good solid performance from Seth Curry, another good one from Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, those guys do go up and down a little bit, but you're seeing them right now in a good environment where they're thriving. They're getting a chance to sort of showcase their skills a bit. That's a Rick Carlisle offense. It's basically like just get the ball out there, and it's that flow offense. So if you can shoot, you can score. You're encouraged to do that. So some good things here for the Mavs, because again, you guys have talked about enough with Luka going out, and you think the game's over, but it wasn't. I mean, the Mavs kept fighting. Yeah. They kept at it. I mean, it was a huge obstacle for them to overcome, but this was by no means a blowout. No means did the Mavs lie down. They kept fighting, and they didn't feel sorry for themselves when Luka went out. So obviously, if he can't play, then it's going to make it tough from here. But I think if he can come back, and if that ankle isn't too bad, then there's still a series here for the Mavs. There's still plenty of things they can see where they feel that this is a series that they can stay in. But when Kawhi Leonard plays like he did last night as well, like he just destroyed them, really. I mean, he played incredible basketball. So he's got that ability to do that at both ends of the floor. I think he was pretty impactful. And on the offensive end, when you just see when Kawhi's like, I'm going to go and get these mid-range buckets, and there's not much anything anyone can do about it. It's hard to stop him. So, but again, I think if you're the Clippers, you're like, we're okay with the tough series here. This is going to be better for us in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, Kawhi is just getting to these stat lines just so easily. I mean, it's like every game you're like, he's plus 30, like last night 36, the 9 and 8, and it's just like it's Jordan like in it's like just like 8 every quarter, 10 every quarter, and it just adds up. That was always MJ's thing. It's like, it's pretty easy to get up there. You get 8 points every quarter, you're suddenly at 32. It's eerily similar to that, because it's quiet in a way. Jordan obviously had a lot of flair, especially young Jordan, with him getting his buckets, and Kawhi is just so mechanical about it. Obviously, marching to the free throw line, just attack. It's just relentless, but he is locked in. I don't like to look too far ahead. I don't want to turn this into First Take or something like that, but it is fun to think about if the Clippers went all the way, Kawhi led them like this, he wins another Finals MVP. I mean, how many spots on the ranking charts of all-time players does he sort of catapult up to win 3 Finals MVPs on 3 teams and going back-to-back on 2 different teams and winning championships like that? I don't know where you have him now in your all-time rankings, but holy moly, I think he would leap like 20 people if you pulled off that, wouldn't he?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's an incredible thing that he would be able to achieve. And even if he doesn't do it this year, he's still got plenty of time to be able to do it later on. So, but, you're talking about Jordan as well, because I think Kleber a couple of times, physically he's defending him okay. He's right up in his space, but Kawhi's just showing how he can just give him a little nudge, give him a little bop, and get that shot up without it really being contested. And that's another thing that like a lot of great scorers are able to do, just create that little room, that space for themselves to just put the defender out of reach and rise up and hit that shot that they're comfortable with. And that's the thing with Kawhi. He's a very strong guy, both in the arms and with the body, and he can just get to his spot. I mean, it is very impressive, especially when you consider coming in, he couldn't shoot a lick. That's why I think he dropped a lot of places too when he got drafted, because people thought he's athletically great, but he's got no shot on him. He's just worked so hard to make it his own.
Oh, here's a question, Lee. Who's more athletic, Kawhi Leonard or you with all that skimming of the stone you're doing?
I tell you what, man, it's incredible when you skim stones for the first time. My kid's 8-year-old. I must have skimmed in front of him before, but last night he was just like, "How are you doing that, Dad?" And I was just like, you got to flick it out there. It's a snap of the wrist, but you got to get it on the side. It's all that side spin.
Right. How many skips are we? See, by the way, you call it skimming stones.
Yeah.
I've always called it skipping stones.
Well,
Yeah,
I guess
it's two different things. It's two different things. They both exist.
I guess it's the
What do you
Australian
mean?
thing, though.
What's the difference?
Yes, yeah. Look
What's
it up.
the difference?
Look it up. Skipping is basically the number, or skipping is the number of times it hits the water.
Okay.
Skimming is the distance between bumps, between hits on the water.
Okay, so
But
it's
they're
the
always
same.
still the
It's
same.
the same
Yes,
thing,
exactly.
but it's just how
They're just
you
measuring different
measure it.
things.
Yeah. Different parts of the world.
Are you a times or a distance kind of guy?
It was
Thrower or a shower?
But it was always skimming when we were kids, so it just must be an Australian thing. Like,
Maybe.
Yeah, I guess so. Because I was like skipping, like I'd never heard of it like that before. So anyway, I rattled off about 6, maybe 7 at my best. So not too bad. But the rocks are very good up here. They're very thin, very thin. So
How's the arm feeling? You're an old guy now. I hope you're,
That's the crazy thing. Last night, after I rattled off about 10, I was just sort of like, oh my God, how can I be sore after that? But, woke up this morning, not too bad. But but my son, my 8-year-old, he threw one out, sunk first time. I said, no, you got to get more on the side and snap that wrist. And he got like 2 or 3 going. So you could just see him like, oh, okay, I got this. So we could be some skimming father and son championships over the next 24 hours.
Didn't know that was a thing. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let us know in the YouTube chats right now. Is it skimming stones or skipping stones?
But also tell us where you're
Everyone
from.
in
then as
America
well.
is saying skipping stones. Everybody outside of America is saying skimming. I think it's a Commonwealth thing.
I mean, they both work. It
the
all
same
makes
thing's
sense.
happening. I love that there are different measurements for this. I always thought it was just number of skips, but some people love to measure that skim.
Yeah.
I think you'd be bragging more about the amount of bounces you get rather than the distance.
A little bit.
Myself.
Yeah.
I would think, because that's what you want. You want that, like the
But then again, if you throw a great stone, skip, and then it goes skip, like you can't even count how many times.
Yeah. But that's better, I think,
yeah.
for me, because you're getting multiple skips. So there you go. I'm changing already. Skips or skims. Wow.
I thought we were talking about first take again. I also thought we were talking milk there for a sec when you brought up skim there. But cool. And hey, outside the Commonwealth, we love our bag milk. Nobody talks about bag milk. Anyway, but Kawhi can't shoot. He can shoot the mid ranges, but it's MJ like where he's not three. He can't hit threes quite yet, and there'll be a game where he hits 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But he's just saying he is MJ like because he's a robot in that he can just say, yeah, we played 50, 60 games, whatever. Now it's my time to turn on. So that's why I'm not sure if he really wants to turn it on now. I think he would have rather had a series to chill out a little bit. But yeah, the Clippers team said it's 1-1. This Mavs team is better than everybody else, or better than we expected, I should say. It's better than every 7 seed that we've really seen in NBA history. I mean, they are a great 7 seed. Mm-hmm. And I looked up 2 7 seeds while I was looking up skipping versus skimming last night. And this Mavs team, they're solid, and Kawhi, I don't know. I just think he can turn it on anytime, and this Mavs team, or this Clippers team is scary. Very, very scary.
Anything to add, Trey? Because I always got to ask you. to Paul George, having another rough game and his comments after. I mean, go ahead if you want.
Pandemic P, and the P stands for pressing. I don't want a pandemic pile on this guy, but you can't go out and say you don't care what people think of you on Instagram. You're asking for likes about not caring what people think? Come on. A little bit of a cornball move, and then you follow it up by having a cornball game. I don't know. Nate Jones was making a bunch of excuses for Paul George, saying he doesn't read the room. Obviously true. Saying the reason people don't like him is because he shunned the Lakers, and the Lakers are quite a vocal fan base on Twitter. Also true. But I've got the bona fides. I haven't liked Paul George for nearly a decade at this point, and it's coming up great for me to see Jimmy Butler balling out compared to Paul George. He's going to show up. He's going to have some good games, but I don't like the changing of the narrative, him trying to be like, well, I'm not just a scorer. I do so much else out here. When you're talking about playoff P, nobody's saying, man, did you see the way that guy was playing defense on the backside? They're talking about scoring baskets. They're talking about you dunking on LeBron James and then having a high five with him. They're not talking about you help defense, man. You got to score. You got to make some shots.
Yeah, he's in a rut right now, Lily. He can't. I don't think that I wouldn't trust him to skip or skim a stone right now. I don't think he'd hit the water.
Well, not with those shoulders. No, he's got to rest those. There's something going on. And maybe he's feeling effect. I don't know, but I think he is one of those guys who is hot and cold at times. I would not be surprised to see him come out in this series or later on and go 7 for 10 from downtown and have a game where he goes for 45 points. And
like Chris Middleton's going to do today. Yeah.
I mean, Paul George, no doubt he has the ability to do that, and he's in a rut right now for sure. And that happens. That happens sometimes in series. It can happen for 4 or 5 games in a row. We've seen him have big games before, but he certainly needs one now, because Trey's right. Like, some people, if you are a noted defender, people say, look at what he did on the defensive end. But Paul George, while he's a good defender, we want to see him light up the box score and have a huge offensive game. And that's the only way he's going to, quiet the critics. But, it's fine. This is what happens. Guys go hot and cold at times. And he also is a little bit Derek Rosey like that, where he sort of gets his foot in his mouth a little bit too much. So
but he tripled and quadrupled down after the game. That was the odd part to me. Bad game. As Trey said, pre-game was talking, and then post-game, ESPN's Young Maisuk with the article about Paul George, and then coming after James Harden. He's not playing the Rockets. I'm no James Harden. That's not my knack to just shoot and score the ball. I can pride myself on being effective on both ends. Whoa, what's going on there, PG? I don't get it. And of course, he's reading the comments, but he's lucky. He's lucky he has Kawhi beside him to.
He's lucky the Clippers won. The Clippers won the game. I mean, if they are down 1-2 after 2, like, brutal performances. Oh boy, I would love to hear what he had to say then. But they got the W, so it still should be a good series. Fingers crossed, of course, that Luka's ankle is just a sprain and that he can play in Game 4 and at least have still a competitive game or series even. All right, let's keep it going here. Back from quarantine, Mike Conley leads the Jazz over the Nuggets 124-87. After the first game went to overtime, Lee, the Jazz have destroyed the Nuggets over the last 2. They're up 2-1 in this series and got Conley back. What's your big takeaway?
What a disaster for the Denver Nuggets.
Nailed it.
You skim those D's.
Honestly, the Jazz. So a couple of things. The Jazz best 3-point percentage shooting team during the regular season, and they're hot right now. Again, in a playoff series, sometimes momentum can carry over from game to game. After game 2, the Jazz were on fire. Game 3, again, Mike Conley comes back and hits 7 threes. Okay, that can happen. So if you're the Nuggets, you go, okay, you know what? That team's hot from downtown. That we have to just deal with that. But if they're also going to just walk into the paint and score, then it doesn't matter how good Denver's offense is if you have got not one single way of slowing down the other team. Now, Mike Conley, some of those threes were good, but some of them, like, guys were just looking at him, not even contesting, not even coming out, not even closing out. So Mike Malone, I mean, I don't know how Denver got quite this bad. We know they're not a great defensive team, but again, the Houston Rockets get criticized for not being a great defensive team. What we've seen from them so far is hustling, is moving the feet, is rotating on defense. That's all Denver has to at least try. right now? Because I don't even see that. I mean, Mike Conley's hitting 3, Jordan Clarkson's hitting 3, and then it's like, okay, Rudy Gobert, they just go inside to him, and then he just goes and scores as easily as he wants. So Denver has got absolutely no chance in this series if they can't defend either one, the three-point line or the paint. The Milwaukee Bucks, we know, let teams kind of shoot threes. That's their MO. It's like, all right,
the Raptors,
yeah. So you're not going to come inside and score. Fine, they live with that. Denver appears to be, we're going to let you shoot threes, and you can come inside anytime you want and score. And that is just a recipe, obviously, for disaster. And Denver, you wonder, seriously, how they even won that game one, because that was close. It took a pretty special effort from Jamal Murray. I mean, they could be in a hole right now, and Utah's got to be feeling just so good right now. They must look at this team and just go, even if they make adjustments, unless there's effort there, this team is just not going to defend for 48 minutes. So this series is Utah's right now for the taking.
Oh, yeah. The Jazz had 3 dunks in the first 4 minutes of this game, and it was like, it's over already. And you're right. They're getting beat from the three-point line. They're getting beat in the paint. And I would add to that lead, they're getting beat on the glass. So even if they do get stopped sometimes, there's an offensive rebound to be had there and another possession for the Jazz. It's been embarrassing. They know it. I mean, Coach Malone, he's not mincing words, right? Tass after these games, he's like, they're just playing on a different level than we are right now. And it's 2 games in a row we've gotten our ass kicked. And that's putting it lightly. They've just been punked in these games.
Yeah, they are the 3 seed in the Western Conference, and to see how the Clippers came out against the Dallas Mavericks after a 1-1 series tie, compared to this Nuggets team that nobody was really giving a chance, and you can see why no one's really giving them a chance. I just was sitting there on my lazy boy on a Friday thinking, did something happen outside of their hotel to make them not get any sleep? Maybe I was projecting a little bit as a father of a young kid, but I just wondered what the hell happened to this team last night. They came out so flat, and then even the third quarter was even worse. And Michael Malone, he tried to get a defensive lineup in there by pulling out Michael Porter Jr. in the third quarter, which I didn't really get. Pulled him out for Jeremy Grant. Michael Porter on defense for sure, but he's trying, and they needed their offense to come back into this game. The crazy thing is that Utah has the better offense right now. That's the crazy part. And so, Denver may have a bit more resilience coming back 2-1. Maybe it was an earlier start that got the Denver off their game or something, but there's no partying in the bubble. That's not what's happening. They just literally came out flat, and that's why a lot of people didn't give Denver a chance, even as a 3 seed. It was just astonishing. I was angry. I know you were angry. Angry Skeet you said, I'm going to go get some friggin' fresh air.
I was pissed because this is an exciting series to me, but it was like, there was just no effort. You guys said it. There was nothing. There was no fight in Denver after a brutal game 2. Usually when you have an embarrassing performance, the next game, you at least try hard. I mean, we saw it with the Sixers. You guys, even talked about the Clippers, coming with some energy there. There was nothing. They were worse than they were in game 2 to me at game 3. So I when it was, I don't know, it was like 42-20 or something like that. Of course, early in the game, I was like, I'm done. They're not winning this game. I've seen this story a million times. Yeah. I said it like this: Jazz go up 25. Nuggets will cut it to about 12 or 13 by the endish of the third quarter, and the Jazz will win by 20. And even that was too kind, because you said it, Tass, they just got hammered even more in the third quarter. It wasn't even that sort of they at least sort of closed the gap a little bit. Just a beat down here, Trey.
Yeah, I'm actually going to call him the Enver Gets, because no D, but also no nugs. Are you kidding me? There's zero fight in this team, and it comes down to Nikola Jokic. I think this is almost 100% on him. Skeets, you like to call Jamal Murray the barometer for this team. Jokic is the weather, because you can just look at him and see if he's going to be trying hard that game, and he hadn't yesterday, and he definitely didn't a couple of nights previous. He's getting roasted by Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is driving around him. He's bringing the physicality. He looks like the best offensive center and clearly the best defensive center. He has, along with Denver, with Donovan Mitchell, 2 guys who the Jazz drafted and traded to Denver.
Ouch.
That hurts. That hurts my Denver Nuggets friends, no doubt about it. But Jokic has looked terrible, and he's clearly getting outplayed by Gobert. Gobert's taking it personally. And when he is 100% engaged, they're getting him the ball. And that was a concern over the shutdown, the rift between him and Mitchell over the fact that Gobert plays all this defense, sets all these screens, and never gets the ball. They're giving him the ball because he's getting to the rim, no problem. There is zero fight in the Nuggets, and now they've got to turn it around if they're going to be able to pull off this series.
Yeah, Tass, I want to ask you this because your old drunken alter ego is named Gary. How much would Gary Harris have helped in this series to this point, or maybe moving forward if they can get him in there? Do you believe Gary Harris can like turn this around if they can get him back for game 4 or 5 or something like that?
Nah, I don't think it's Gary Harris. I understand that he is a bit of their heart and their energy.
He's a defender.
Yeah, no doubt. I just wonder. I just wonder about this team. I wonder how much of an effect he would have. I wonder whose minutes he would take. And is he coming in for Michael Porter Jr.? Is he coming in for Torrey Craig? I guess. It's a top down. Jokic. I can't tell. Trey says he's the weather, and you can tell if Jokic is going to give it his all or not. To me, Jokic is a blank slate. He's just got that slack-jawed look no matter what his situation is, no matter if he's going to go 100 Jokic miles an hour or not. But I think it comes down to him defensively, and it's I don't know. I there's no answer. For them to be ripped apart in Game 3 after what happened in Game 2, where they were also ripped apart, where the ball was moving. I don't think anybody has an answer. And Michael Malone sitting there with his head in his hands in the first friggin' half, and then it only got worse. Are they just wanted to give this game away? Strange stuff. I don't know how much Gary Harris would help. He wasn't going to make them win this game.
Mike Conley, you said it there off the top, Lee. Back after the birth of his son. So he passed quarantine. So he left the NBA bubble for the birth of his son, and he returned Monday night. He had to go through the 4-day quarantine. That ended Friday, so he's in this game. 7 of 8 from three-point range. 4 assists. This was the Conley when the Jazz added him that we were like, wow, man, Jazz might be legit here. You get Mike Conley in there, obviously a vet point guard, can hit shots, has played in a ton of playoff games. This is what they pictured. This is what Jazz fans pictured for sure. Great game. But David Thorpe tweeted, with Conley on fire from 3, fresh from the birth of his baby, can we call this situation VanVleeted? As in, man, what's gotten into that guy? He's playing lights out. And the answer is he's been VanVleeted. What are your thoughts on this, Lee? This is for everyone and everyone on the YouTube chats. Do we like the VanVleeted idea here? Of course, Fred VanVleet was ice cold last year in the playoffs. Has his son, comes back, can't miss a shot, and gets a finals MVP vote from Hubie Brown later on. Any better ideas than VanVleeted, or do you like it?
I don't have a better idea. I think Fred deserves it because of what we saw from him last year. And I think you can understand it, for anyone who's a father out there, those couple of days before your wife's about to give birth, they are pretty stressful. Sure. Even in the month leading up there, because, the date can move around a little bit, and you don't want to, you want everything to go smoothly. You want everything to go smoothly. Your mind can't possibly be on a basketball game when your wife's in that situation. So once the baby comes out and everyone's happy and healthy and you're able to perhaps go home already, which I expect Mike Conley's wife is, then all of a sudden that's like, oh, great, that stress is off. I mean, there's a different kind of stress, of course, with a newborn baby, but the baby's out and you sort of then begin that next stage of your life. So sure. I can understand why guys then are starting to feel on top of the world, you're happy, you're emotional, and you're a little bit more free than you were in those last few days and weeks leading up to it.
Is it safe to say you were at your best skimming stones after the birth of your 2 children?
Oh, yeah, man. I've started to pick it up again. It's just great doing those sorts of things, especially because, when you do them until your kid can get better at them than you, like you're on top of the world, but once your kids start beating you at stuff, then it's like it's all downhill from there. Okay. I'm still better at most things than my kid, but it's getting close. So JD's probably been schooled by his kids a few times.
Ouch!
A few different things. Well, I'm just saying. I mean, JD's got a teenager there. He's got
he's got a kid making coffee back there.
Exactly.
That's not a new roaster in town.
Can your kids beat you at chess, JD? I saw that photo. Can't hear you, JD.
JD.
Oh, JD.
Get your kid to turn on your mic.
I just use software, I'm telling you. They kill me at chess. They kill me at Basketball for sure. God, well, everybody does. What else do they?
Video games?
Skateboarding? How's skateboarding shape up?
Skateboarding, I can keep up at this time, but it's very much they're off in the distance very, very soon. Coffee, eggs. Jackson makes a mean egg.
Wow.
It's all part of the circle of life. They're just getting ready to take care of me.
So do they talk trash when they're beating you at chess, or is it kind of they go easy on the old man?
They are very kind. They're kind boys when it comes to chess. Video games, it's F-bombs galore and in your face, that kind of thing. But chess, they know how much it hurts me, so they take it easy on me.
Oh,
which is nice. My kids are nice.
Good kids. Good kids. Well, Trey, what do you think of this VanVleeted? Is there anything better?
Call it a baby bump. I think that's a clearly better name than VanVleeting.
So
Pretty
good.
simple, but honestly, men are getting way too much credit for women having babies here. I think the reason that most of these basketball players go out and have good games is because they feel guilty that they're not around their newborn child. If I'm going to go play basketball, I better go have 30 points tonight. That explains it to me.
I like baby bump though. That's good. Yeah, I saw baby swag or daddy swag too. That guy's got the daddy swag going on here. All right, VanVleeted though. A lot of people are liking that. Anything to add there, Tass?
No, sir. Baby bump, Velveeta cheese, VanVleeted. I love it.
Yummy. All right. Nuggets, just play better. Let's get a series here. Okay, we're going to get to yesterday's 2 Eastern Conference playoff games, but first, a quick word from our sponsors. Okay, over to the East. Kemba Walker scores 24 points. Celtics beat the 76ers. They are up 3-0 in the first round series. Trey, what do you think?
Well, first of all, shout out to the 76ers for actually playing hard in this game. Comparing it to the Nuggets game, this was a must win for Philadelphia as well. They obviously didn't win it, but they were playing really hard. It just came down to the final 2 minutes, and the Celtics had some incredible clutch defense. It started with Marcus Smart about 2 minutes down. There's a double on Joel Embiid, an insane steal. Reaching back, it looked like he was catching a pass in the end zone. The way he catches it, he flicks it up to Jaylen Brown, goes the other way for an and one.
Beautiful.
That was huge. Next time down the court, Embiid doubled again, tries to draw a foul, blocked from behind by Tatum, gets the ball ahead. A weird clear path foul. That should have been a continuation foul, I think, on Josh Richardson. By the letter of the law, fair enough. I guess it's clear path, but still felt weird. Nonetheless, a big possession. Tatum makes one, then Kemba Walker gets the ball in the ensuing possession. Step back. That turned a 2-point Sixers lead into a 4-point lead for the Celtics, and it just took all of the wind out of the Sixers' sails. And that's why the Celtics are so scary right now. They've got so many great players who contribute, and as Brad Stevens called it with Marcus Smart afterwards, they just make winning plays. You got 4 clutch plays from 4 different guys down the stretch, and that's without Gordon Hayward right now. The Celtics have a lot of options. We've talked a lot about how they're thin in the middle, and, Tice did foul out. You had to go to Cantor, but it didn't really matter. Embiid wasn't able to take advantage of Cantor down in the final 2 minutes. The Celtics, they're looking tough. They pulled this one out of their ass, and you got to tip your green hat to them.
To the Beantown boys.
Is that why you're wearing the green band today on the head?
I don't know, guys. I'm feeling beanie. I'm feeling a little beanie lately.
You love beans.
I love beans, and honestly, watching Tatum and Brown, those guys are just fun to watch. Even if they're not having the greatest game, you feel like they're going to make a play at any point, especially Jaylen Brown. This is maybe the second game in a row where he's just had a crazy fast break in the last couple of minutes. And you're like, whoa. Okay. I guess you have a lot of energy left to make a play here.
Right.
And it matters, man. They're tough. This is a tough team that plays offense and defense. They go the other way really quickly, and they've done a pretty good job of mitigating Embiid's advantage inside.
Yeah. That Smart pick 6 that he then flicks it to Jaylen Brown. It wasn't the greatest pass from Embiid. What are you doing, man? You're going cross court here. You're not even putting any
really
work on it.
Pass.
I mean, a lot of people I think would have stole it, but the way I don't think many guys in the league probably just don't have the balls to even try it, where Smart dives for the steal, grabs it, and then in one motion flicks it to Brown to start the fast break. So, how many guys try that? Obviously in a close game, in a playoff game at that. That was unbelievable. I was tweeting about that. And then, like Trey said, for Jaylen Brown to, just attack in transition. It wasn't like it was a wide open layup. I mean, he was in traffic there to finish that one. Yeah, they were – you feel bad a little bit for the Sixers. They put forward a good effort. They just can't hit a damn shot. I mean – and it's the same story with Embiid too. Monster first half, runs out of gas in the second, he's invisible in the second half. I think he was 1 for 9. a couple rebounds here and there, but he's a monster and he just can't do it for 48 minutes. And no one else could hit a shot. They were getting a ton of rebounds, but no one could hit a shot, Lee.
Yeah, and that's the problem with the Sixers. That offense has been herky-jerky all season long, but they got to a position last night where the game was there to be won, and because they have that advantage with Embiid over Tyson and Cantor, but then the Celtics kind of just threw multiple looks at him, and I honestly think Embiid panicked a little bit. I think you've got to, go inside, throw your arms up, you'll get the foul call, get to the free throw line. I think he had 16 free throws in the end.
He did that a couple times in his defense.
he did, but the problem is he almost just gets bored or lazy with it, where it's like, no, this is your one area that you have an advantage. So make the most of it. Throw your arms around it. Even if you get an offensive foul, just sort of let those guys know if they come in there, there's going to be some sort of contact. And that's the thing. The Sixers, they did fight. They absolutely fought in this game, knowing that they basically brought a knife to a gunfight in terms of their offenses just doesn't flow. But they got enough points and they got into that position. And then Embiid, those turnovers. And again, Marcus Smart, I mean, you talked about incredible defensive sort of positioning and understanding that he has, reads the play so well, which is great. And that's something that very few teams have a player who was capable of doing those things he did. But I felt a bit for Brett Brown there because, he looks awfully stressed on the sidelines there. And his team was so much better than they were in the first two games, but they still blew it at the end. And it was really only 2 minutes there that cost them. But ultimately, that's the difference between them and the Celtics. The Celtics have multiple guys who are capable of making a play or scoring a basket, whereas the Sixers have one, and he wasn't able to do it enough.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Brett Brown is married. Maybe his wife is going to give birth tomorrow. Maybe that's why he's so stressed on the sideline. Maybe it has nothing to do with basketball, but at least he was trying stuff. At the beginning of the game, he reinserts Al Horford into the starting lineup, who started game one, took him out game two, put him back here in game three. I know the TNT crew is saying, whoa, these players don't know what's going on if you're just taking guys and putting them on the bench and putting them back in. But I thought it worked well. They didn't force the ball to Embiid, and I know their shooting percentages were horrible, but I thought Embiid's freshness would be there at the end of the game because everybody else was working their butts off, and Embiid wasn't being spoon-fed the ball. He didn't have to do absolutely everything, but it didn't pay off in the end just because of those really bad possessions from Joel Embiid, who says, I don't want to get swept. I don't want that on my resume. So maybe they come out and fight again. But it was so strange to see a team have guys basically not be able to hit shots. Nobody scored over 35% from the floor in this game. Not one Sixer is basically shooting better than 1/3 of their shots. Tom Haberstroh said, no need to fact check this. If the Sixers can pull this game off, they'll win a game where nobody hit a shot. And it seemed that way. But at least Brett Brown was trying stuff. And on the other side, no matter what happens in game 4 or game 5 or how they finish it, the balance is just so hard on a basketball team to have Jaylen Brown, you're standing over there, but you're going to be ready. And he is ready whenever the ball does go to him to make a play. Kemba Walker, you got to be ready. And he is ready in the fourth quarter when it's sort of Jason Tatum's game, but they're all ready. And that's the scary part about them, is that if they can have this balance, sometimes they do go stagnant. And it's just so hard to have that hierarchy where you don't know who's going to do it. But so far, so amazing. I wonder, I'm going to bring this up now. 3-0. The Raptors are 3-0. We'll get to them. Are they going to bump up the schedule for round number 2?
That's what I remember them saying they were going to do. Yeah.
Thank heavens. Yeah. That's a great idea. Make this happen, because it would be strange for these guys to be sitting around. It literally could be a full week. Yeah. According to the round 2 schedule, if they both do sweep.
Yeah, I remember I don't know where I saw that or who I heard say that they would start the series. No, I'm sure they're going to get a little bit of time off depending on what's going on in the other series. The Pacers and the Heat and then the Bucks Magic, but because you can't get too far ahead, right? But maybe they start it and they get more days off in between even, right? I guess that could be a possibility. But yeah, we're looking at likely 2 sweeps here. And everybody excited for this Atlantic Division battle for the Atlantic Division championship between the Celtics and the Raptors. Kemba Walker, too, that step back was nasty. That you given us the play-by-play action there, Trey. That was huge. He looks incredible. I'm worried, man. As a Raptors fan, I'm going to keep saying this. This is going to be a war this series, I think, between these two teams. I can't wait for it. I'm very excited. But that Kemba, if he's playing like this, and I'm excited for him too to get out of the first round. I mean, this guy's never even sniffed a playoff series win. I think he was, what was his record? He had like 3 wins in his career in Charlotte, like wins. So here he goes. He's going into the next round. He's got more wins with the Celtics in the playoffs than he did his entire Hornets career. That's pretty wild to think, but yeah. What were you gonna say?
I think he went to 7 games with the Heat one season. Other than that, he's been swept.
So I think he's 3 and I think he was 3-8 with the Hornets.
Right? Yeah, that was the series with the purple headband man.
Oh,
that
right.
guy.
Yeah, the fan in the front row there.
Hey, Tassie, by the way, Brett Brown's wife, she's from Melbourne too. She's an Australian girl. Yeah, because that's where he spent a lot of his life. I think he's an Australian citizen, Brett. So, but they've got older kids. They're not having any more kids.
Nah, Brett Brown's a little long in the tooth to be having kids.
Do you think this series is over? Like, the Sixers put forward the effort at least. They couldn't hit a shot, but like, are they going to now just say, well, okay, we tried. We still can't beat them. Their best guy, Tatum, played garbage, and we still can't beat them because we can't hit a shot. Like, is it a sweep, Trey?
I don't know. I think game 4 is going to be a blowout. I just don't know which way it's going to go. Either the Sixers come out and Joel Embiid really decides, I don't want to sweep on my resume, and it's a blowout for the Philadelphia 76ers, or he comes out and he says that, and the team still looks like they have for the entirety of the bubble, and it's a blowout for Boston. I think the Sixers are going to win. As soon as you think you've got them figured it out, flip it. The Celtics are going to win the series, no doubt. It goes 5 at the most, but I think there's going to be a little finishing kick here from Philly.
Will the Sixers coaching staff tuck in their shirts for game 4?
Oh my goodness.
Switch it up. They're going with the Untuck It look. I was even asking, was that a sponsorship with Untuck It? Those weird shirts you see in airplane magazines. And Derek Bodner was already ahead of me a game before. He asked the same thing. And because he's a great reporter, he found out from Untuck It. Nope. It's not a sponsorship deal. They're just untucked shirts. Wow. Because they do look like those type of shirts.
Yeah, tuck them in, I would say.
Tuck them in.
Tuck them in. Switch it up. It's not working. No. Look too relaxed out there. You're going to have a lot of time on your hands to have untucked shirts here pretty soon. So maybe tuck it in for the last couple of times there on the sideline.
Yeah, but Lee and Tass, what do you think? The Sixers put up another fight and maybe push this to 5, or is that a wrap? Yeah, okay, Lee's shaking his head. So you think that's a sweep? What about you, Tass?
Yeah, I mean, they might put up a fight, but they're losing.
Okay, Tass?
I definitely thought they wouldn't put forth the effort into game 3, so I was definitely wrong. They were scrapping. Watching Josh Richardson defensively is fun. Watching Tobias Harris offensive board his plenty of misses was kind of fun. But
make a 3, Tobias.
I know, Ofer from 3-point land. They just have no shooting whatsoever. I don't know how they put forth that same effort, though, when they know it's 3-0. But that's what I thought going into 2. I thought they knew that they were done. But now they got to know they're done.
Yeah, I was angry because at the end of yesterday's show, I was saying, what's going on with that weird Celtics-Sixers line? Why are the Celtics only favored by 5.5 here in game 3? And I was almost right, Tass. I feel like, I can't believe they blew it. They really should have won the game, let alone covered. But Celtics did cover in the end. So hope you didn't take my advice out there. All right, final game. Siakam scores 26. Raptors punk the Nets for the 3-0 series lead. This one well on their way. The Raptors are to their first sweep in franchise history. Tass was talking it up before this series. He says it's going to happen, and it's looking likely. The only real notes I have from this was a really impressive Raptors defensive game. Just, you have Marc Gasol not playing well for the Raptors, but Ryan Wolstadt pointing out how it's such an incredible luxury for the Raps to, when you don't have Marc Gasol going, to then, let's go with Serge Ibaka. And Ibaka started 0 for 4 in this game, and then he hit 8 straight shots, and he finished with 20 and 13, did a great job on Jarrett Allen. And, the Raptors did an incredible job on Jarrett Allen. He didn't have a shot. And they just restricted the Nets to everything outside. And that was a bit of their game plan. Fire a bunch of threes. It's the only chance of beating this team. But 12 restricted area attempts in game 3. I saw the Schumann stat was for the Nets. Wow, that is low. After 16 in game 2. And again, Allen, not even a single field goal attempt. The defense, man, they're locked in. They're ready to go with the Celtics. Let's get it on. Let's start it up. When can we play it? When do these two teams play again? Tomorrow? We can start this on Tuesday. Let's do it. Crazy performance here from the Raptors, and the Nets just don't have enough firepower. That's all I got to add.
Yeah, Karis LeVert was the player that they focused in on, as we've said. Nick Nurse, he's not taking this thing lightly, and Karis LeVert has been held down in this series, scoring the ball. There's just too many appendages, as our colleague Eric Kareen likes to say. Karis LeVert, 32% from the floor, 25% from three, because whether he's got Siakam on him, OG Anunoby is ready, and there's just so many limbs ready to throw at him, and they can't get by it, and that's why they can't get into the restricted area. It is a little Kawhi-like the defense they put on Giannis last year. They're building that wall, and they're spreading out those arms, and it's going to be a blast to see how they do that against Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, and Jaylen Brown on the perimeter, especially because the Celtics don't necessarily have an inside-type scorer. So, yeah, can't wait for that. They have the best defense in the playoffs other than the Lakers, who have held the Blazers down. The worries, I guess maybe Siakam is broken out. That's great offensively, but are they too good too early?
Oh.
Is that a problem? I mean, they've been down there for 2 months. They've been in Florida the longest of any NBA team. They have obviously been steamrolling from game one of the bubble scenario. That's the only worry, is that sometimes you can't play great basketball for months on end because, as we said, their playoff series might not start for a week. And in the conference finals, it's just a long frickin' time, but those are good worries to have.
Yeah, and like the Celtics did in game 3 versus the Sixers, they can play bad games, the Raps have proven, and still win the game because the defense is that talented. They've been there before, the playoff experience. Hey, let's just put together a little run here in the final 2 minutes. We can steal this. Raps did it in one of these games against the Nets even. So, Fred VanVleet too. He's still on fire. 22 points, 6 of 10 from three-point range. He had the half quarter there in game 3. He's hit 17 threes in this series. VanVleet, he's turned into Ray Allen. It's you love to see it if you're a Raps fan, which I obviously am there with the half good shirt. Anything to add there, Trey or Lee?
I watched this game and I don't remember anything that happened except for Fred VanVleet making that half quarter.
Yeah.
This thing is over. This one's a sweep. The Nets have done the best they can. They've played hard, but it's just not going to happen.
Lee?
Yeah, not really. I mean, the Nets, it's been a good test, though, actually, for the Raptors. They've had to work hard, which is great for them going forward, but they're too good, and the Nets are depleted. No Joe Harris, of course. That sucks for them. But this is fine for the Raptors. This is all they need, is just keep playing hard. That's what they want to do, so that when they face the Celtics, they're battle-tested. Yeah,
I would think a team like the Raps right now, tasked to speak to your worry about them playing too good too early, is they sure hope they probably could start that Celtics series right away, right? And they don't have to take a week off because the way they're playing, for the most part, they're pretty locked in. So we will see. Yeah, I mean, I had the Nets winning one game. I sure as hell don't see it now. I think this ends on Sunday, unless Jacques Vaughn again. He said he basically said our only chance to beat this team is we got to shoot like 55 threes and hit 25 of them. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And so they gave it a go in game 3 and, obviously didn't hit enough. And they're just going to try it again, I think, in game 4. Well, it's just bomb away from outside. Though Nick Nurse is so diabolical, he'll probably hey, let's totally switch up our defensive game plan. Let's take away all the threes now. And then the Nets will be like, oh, damn it. Now we got to go through Jared Allen. Okay, here we go. Let's get him 40. But we'll see.
Either way, they've been a good story. The Brooklyn Nets have been a good story coming down to the Orlando bubble, stealing that 7th spot from the Orlando Magic, playing their butts off, having one of the games of the bubble so far, playing against the Portland Trail Blazers, and having a lot of young guys really step up and gain this experience. It's a positive. I don't know why I feel bad about saying this was going to be a sweep back in January and February when these teams were lining up, but I just feel bad, so I had to throw in that little bone there. I didn't have to, but I honestly do think, we all know it was a great to story for Brooklyn, and thanks for giving us that game against Damian Lillard. That was a fantastic game.
We'll see if Jacques Vaughn has done enough to warrant keeping the job. Guess got to ask Kyrie and KD about that, but we'll find out later. Okay, a little bit of news. Zach Collins, he's going to require season-ending ankle surgery. Now, the Blazers said earlier in the week that Collins was diagnosed with a stress reaction injury to his left ankle. He would be reevaluated. Well, he's been reevaluated. News is not good. Like I said, season-ending ankle surgery. Maybe not a surprise, I don't think. Not that Collins was playing all that well in the bubble down there before the injury, but anything to add to this, guys? I mean, already a pretty short-staffed Blazers team, and now you don't have another big. You got to hope that Whiteside can put it together in a couple more games here versus the Lakers, right, Trey?
Yeah, Collins has really been struggling, and it's not surprising that he probably was going to be replaced in the lineup regardless. But if you're Portland, this has been the story of your season. Somebody's getting hurt at all times. So that's a bummer, but the biggest loss for them is just that they have one less body, and now you have to rely on Whiteside so much more. He was great in game 1. He had 5 blocks, and he was instrumental in locking down the Lakers and protecting the rim. And that wasn't the case in game 2, but now you got to hope to have an engaged Hassan Whiteside for every game because he's going to be playing, especially if Collins isn't going to be able to go. Hopefully he's better and ready for next season because he's a guy that has some promise out there. You'd think he could be like a Kristaps Porzingis light, maybe, protecting the rim a little bit with his length and athleticism and able to stretch the floor if he can ever actually figure out how to make his threes in the corner. I felt like there were so many times in the seeding games, the ball would get kicked to Collins in the corner. You're like, here we go. Here we go. Let's see if this one's actually dropping. It wasn't down in Orlando, but get the ankle right and then get the shot right for next season, I suppose.
Yeah, he seems like a guy that if he's your 4th or 5th best player on your team, like you're pretty happy with that because he has shown promise. Obviously, prior to the bubble situation where he just couldn't hit a shot. He was like clanking some off the side of the backboard, wasn't he?
It was bad.
There was some pretty brutal attempts. But yeah, best of luck to him getting back. And you would think he'd be back for next season, whenever the heck that starts. Anything to add, Tass, early, or go to the next thing here?
No, I won't add anything about Zach Collins. Get right. You got a nice little built-in excuse for not playing well, but you said a lot of, or he hit the side of the glass with his 3-point shot. There's been a lot of those the last.
Yeah, there has been.
Yeah. And I'm glad Stan Van Gundy has also pointed out just how many guys have been fouled on 3-point shots down here too. Man, there were so many in the seeding games. It sort of continued a little bit in the playoffs, and not like from guys like doing the Reggie, like really kicking the legs and like, getting away with one for drawing the contact. It's just like guys are just trying to close out on 3-point shooters and just like too aggressive, and they're hitting them or getting into their space so you can't allow them to land. There's been a lot of that. Stop doing that. Sam Van Gundy broke it down on the broadcast. He was like, he was going through the numbers, man. He's like, he's a 35% 3-point shooter. Now you're fouling him. He's an 80% free throw or 3-point shooter. Now he's an 80% free throw shooter. Like, do the math. Like, he was really breaking it down. So
he knows his numbers. He knows his voting numbers as well. He breaks that down live.
All right, I got to slip this news in here because it was something we talked about. According to Yahoo Sports, Chris Haynes, Damian Lillard, and other visiting stars will no longer hear music or tracks they've known to enjoy while playing in road games. I'm throwing those in air quotes for you listening to the podcast in the bubble. So in the Blazers' Game 1 victory over the Lakers on Tuesday, Lillard hit that deep, deep bomb down the stretch. And then for a few seconds, he danced as the Lakers' home DJ played Too Short, an Oakland Legends Blow the Whistle in the arena. You guys, you remember the clip. So I said at the time, what the hell is the Lakers home DJ doing? Why is he playing a song that, Damian Lillard being from Oakland, the guy just hits the bomb and now he's dancing on them. What are you doing? That guy should be fired. I didn't actually mean that, but they've had a discussion about this, which is hilarious. Moving forward, there will be an emphasis placed on going through playlists to make sure certain tracks aren't iconic to the visiting team or to the opposing star players who are supposed to be on the road. How are they going to do this? Okay, do they go into the locker room before the game and the DJ just plays a little snippet and he sees the reaction? He's like, okay, nothing. I can play that one. Okay, ooh, he was dancing in the back there. You were dancing a little bit in the back. Not going to play that one. What the hell? But
I will volunteer for the job. I will be the guy who goes through every player's Instagram profile to see what songs they're dancing to. Okay. If you're dancing to a song, we're crossing it off the list because you should never play a Damian Lillard song if you are the home DJ and they're the road team. I guess it's not technically the Lakers DJ, right? It's there's 4 DJs who are just, it's like a wedding. You got to hire a DJ and you hope it's a good one. But then the next thing you know, they're playing a song that you had on the play after the parents leave list. I remember at my wedding, they played Big Pimpin' way too early. No, thank you. So that's what's happening here. But what a hilarious thing to think that clearly the Lakers went and complained, right? They're like, hey, we're supposed to be the home team. We got Damian Lillard dancing. That is not fair.
Yeah, there are 3 official team-employed DJs down there, and there's one who assists the Clippers that was picked for this bubble. They rotate in shifts to work every game. So you're right; it's exactly like a wedding. You're like, God, Hope we get the good one tonight. Hope he doesn't play too much Black Eyed Peas tonight. So yeah. Anyway, I guess like Tass, do you have any idea how they're actually going to like go through on this? Like, is it like what I said? Like, hey, what songs do you like? Okay, I won't play those.
I don't know if I'm just a huge nerd, but I just assume that, let's say, the Blazers are in the playoffs. The Blazers guy would send a list of everything he usually plays.
Right.
I mean, why is that hard? I mean, there isn't really any home court advantage other than you got these fake logos on the court. You need the music to be part of the advantage, I would think. Like just the stuff that you're used to hearing.
Sure,
like
sure.
Your usual defense chants or whatever, your little defense if they play that.
Yeah, like some of them have like
that.
the visuals on the board, like that are customized to something I assume they're doing in their home arena, and they got the virtual fans is the only other thing. Yeah, but you're right, the music's pretty important.
When you go through security, you have to hand over your phone, and everyone gets to download your Spotify playlist, and songs get crossed off from that. But look, the problem here is though, like what happens if LeBron just likes that song himself normally? Like he's like, no, I don't want it. It's too crazy. Like that seems crazy to me because like I like Bon Jovi. Not everyone does, but I also like a little bit of Yay every now and again. So I mean, there's so many.
Excuse me.
There's so many crossover.
I like a little bit of Yay every once in a while.
Like you've heard me. Sometimes I like some Yay music. So like it's going to be very hard to eliminate everything because look, when the season's over, I can see LeBron jamming out to something with Lillard. So it's like, well, you can't play that song. I was like, come on, man, just enjoy the music. Music brings us all together.
Just enjoy the music. All right.
Or just make it so vanilla across the board. So you've got songs that people either
elevator music.
Universally
the Black Eyed Peas. Just play the Black Eyed Peas.
Exactly.
Started. Oh man. All right. So let's hear from you guys. How are they going to enforce that stuff? Not playing songs that the road team likes. Let us know your best idea for that, or tweet them in. Okay. Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
Trey, what do we got, man?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about Stan Van Gundy, how he knows all the numbers, how he's great on Twitter, and he is, no doubt about it. But our tweet of the night comes from Jamel Hill, who is retweeting, quote tweeting, whatever you want to call it, a Stan Van Gundy tweet wishing his wife happy birthday. Jamel responds, in case y'all didn't know, SVG is on Twitter and is a great follow. 100% agree. As long as you can get over the fact he might be the only person on the planet whose favorite chips is plain chips. Communist move! What a diss. Personally, I love a plain chip. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite, but I think there's a reason they call it the classic flavor. They don't call it plain. They call it original or classic. If you like no dunks, you gotta like a classic potato chip because it's all classics here and it's all classics in that bag.
I don't love a plain chip. I'll eat a plain chip because it's still a chip, but it's I don't even know where I'm ranking it. It's low on my rankings. I want a flavor. Give me an artificial flavor.
You're a cream man. You like to cream it up, sour cream and onions.
Hey, look, I've talked about it before. Chips come in cycles, man. A couple months, I'll be all into the sour cream and onion game. Then, can't even look at one. Same thing, dill pickle has its moments. Barbecue. Well, barbecue is a bit of a staple for me. I can go all 12 months with barbecue.
Barbecue's elite when it comes to the chip world.
But then like a ketchup, I'll be jonesing for a ketchup every once in a while. But
see, that's why this one hurts me because right now in my cycle, I'm big on the classics right now. And I'm also big on socialism.
Yeah, you're a communist.
Yeah. So when you have both of them together, I'm like, how dare you, Jamel? I want my classic chips and I want healthcare for all.
Nothing wrong with a classic chip, Jamel. And it depends on the brand because, you said some of them call classics. Like, I don't like a Lay's regular chip. But if you're getting into a thicker chip, a thicker original, a Miss Vicky's, it's climbing the charts. I think I did a top 5 chips back in our starters days. A lot of cream on that list. Also, a lot of sour cream and onion, sour cream, cheddar, whatever's going on there in the chip. No barbecue. I'm not a big barbecue fan, but I think regular chips was up there. Dip is a factor.
Well, then that's ridiculous. If you got to dip the chip, then you don't really like the chip.
Yeah, I agree. It's like
dip other chips.
people arguing for
dip other
Tristan.
You don't need to dip other chips because they have flavor.
Not good flavor. That's why. Well, listen. I don't even need to dip. I don't think I've ever dipped a chip.
You liar!
I just deleted my tweet. I just deleted my tweet, Jamel. Is that what communists do? No, but I'm good for a good regular chip. Straight up, as long as it's not a Lay's. We're not getting sponsored by Lay's. I love a thick regular.
And then here we go. This is where Lee goes. You shouldn't be eating chips. You should be eating raw uncooked carrots. Go ahead, just do it.
No.
Cooked potato.
No, listen, I like a regular chip as well, a classic. But if there's a barbecue there, I'm definitely going the barbecue. If there's salt and vinegar, then there's no contest. I'm going salt and vinegar as well. So, but when you're in the gas station, sometimes on a road trip, and you're like, just give me the plain because I know there'll be no fighting, there'll be no complaining over it. So it's like, just eat those, everyone's happy. So it's certainly got its place. But if you want to get sexy, you want to add a little flavor there, I think. So give me some barbecue Pringles. I mean, they're man, everyone loves those.
Barbecue Pringle. This guy's made of money over here.
I'm rolling in it. You're $2.39 a can. Like, wow, yeah, man, give me all that.
There's like how many chips are in a Pringle container?
Well,
Like
I mean,
11.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good question. I know 35 to 40, yeah.
Oh, which container you're talking? You're talking about a fully.
A regular standard. That's what you expect when you're talking like the snack. You got the snack size and the bite size, but if you're talking like a traditional Pringles, I'm saying 35 to 40.
It's got to be more actually now.
Let's ask Stanvan. He knows every number of everything in the world.
It's great with numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap this bad boy up by looking ahead at Saturday's games. Obviously, 4 of them on once again. Tass, what's the game of the day?
Jumping around the networks here, a couple to start on TNT, Milwaukee, Orlando, Indiana, Miami, then Houston, OKC on ESPN, ABC, classic Saturday night, ABC, Lakers and Blazers to wrap it up. Definitely looking at the Lakers and Blazers as the best game, but I just wanted to throw this idea at you guys. The Nets and the Sixers playing on Sunday for their lives, for their bubble lives. They're both down 3-0. If I'm on one of those teams, I want to get the heck out of the bubble as soon as possible. So I think they should play today for that 1 p.m. Sunday slot in order to get out. So their flight can get out at 4:30. They just get on the flight with their soggy shorts and jerseys and get the heck out of there. I think that would be the game of the day if I could choose.
Interesting. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Have them just play today to see who gets the early game so they can get swept and get the hell out of there. Yeah, you would like that early afternoon flight. You wouldn't want to fly too late at night to wherever you're going. Okay.
I know no team has come back from 3-0 in the history of the league. No team has also never come back from 3-0 in the history of the bubble. So it's not going to happen. Just get that 1 o'clock and get the heck out of there.
All right. So, but today's game, I guess you said you're most intrigued by Lakers Blazers. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
Isn't that the consensus for everybody? It sure feels that way.
Well,
hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Chris Middleton go for 36 points and win myself a cool $10, but we'll see. Yeah.
That's 3 cans of Pringles right there.
Ooh, I can't wait. All right. If let's change the bet. If you win, I got to buy you Pringles, and if I win, you got to drink a Bud.
Okay. All right.
Okay. We're giving you $10. All right. Let's call it there for today. Email us your questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Guys, go get yourself a new No Dunks t-shirt. Rep the brand by swinging by nodunks.com. Got them all there. If you listen to the podcast on iTunes, please leave your boys a 5-star rating and review. We'll see you here again on Sunday morning around 10 a.m. Eastern on YouTube to recap the day's playoff action and all the big news. And if you can't join us live, obviously you'll be catching us on the podcast wherever you download your No Dunks classics. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And I am going to trust Yahoo with this random fact. Did a quick search about how many chips there are in a Pringles can. There are 95. What? Sounds crazy. Representing the Raptors, 95 chipperinos in a big can. Do you believe it?
Embrace the day, people.